And I'm gonna go ahead and go. Gonna go live. Okay, it's getting ready to go live. Thanks. I know. I love that note.
I'm gonna say every time somebody say live.
Live. That's
Your hair.
Huh?
I'm liking your hair.
Oh, thank
You
you.
did something.
I brightened it up. So I did.
I can tell.
Yeah,
okay.
it was because I hadn't been doing it. So you ready to that?
Oh yes, we finna do this thing.
It looks good.
All
Cute.
right. Let me get back over
Thank
to
you.
the screen
Was that
so,
effect?
It's frozen.
so we can have some fun. There's nothing like a live where you're having fun. Um,
Uh-huh.
all right, you guys. Let's see. I think we are officially on live, you guys.
Second.
We're on live.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Oh, listen to the notes. We're gonna have to do a song one time.
Okay.
I,
Uh-oh.
I want to tell you guys, welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. But I want to say this. My husband and some more of my other friends think when we're on together, we're just such an awesome team. In fact, they really enjoy us. And I was glad to hear that. So that kind of made my day.
Oh.
And I just want to tell you,
Okay.
I appreciate you all. How, I often tell Rashad, this is not about me. This platform is to get information out. And I love the information that you guys are really putting out there. It's like really, really, really cool. I'm really loving it. So I'm very excited, very appreciative for what's going on because I'm going to tell you in this industry, I realize a lot of times we are so closed-minded toward each other to that we don't really, if you're doing something good, I won't tell you. It's so much jealousy, so much envy. And so I think what's happening with this flow is showing that we don't envy each other. We build each other up. And that's a good thing because that's what's needed now because a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yes.
I totally agree.
And Joyce, before I let Rashawn loose like a bullet,
Charlton.
I would like for you to talk a little bit about you remember you had your what was it called you had last week? You
The
had
town
your
hall.
Is she froze a little bit?
I don't see her picture, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
Maybe
she may be
section.
okay. Well, maybe she'll pop back in and then we can kind of let her. But Rashad,
Yes.
today I saw your live earlier. I love what was said. I think I'm more excited than anybody about what you're about.
What? And you froze on me too.
I'm sorry. You froze too.
You did. But I can hear you, but your screen froze.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, listen.
I have a picture of you right now, Joyce.
Yeah. We kind of wanted to hear about how did everything go with what was it called, Rashad?
The town hall.
Yes. Are
You
we
there?
frozen? Are we froze again? Well, she's driving for those of you that don't know. So she may be running to she said,
Yes.
I see y'all. She see us. But she may be froze for a moment. But whenever we can get Joyce
Can
back
y'all
in,
see me?
we can see your picture.
I can't see anything.
I see your picture. Okay. You may have to log off and log back on.
Okay. I think that's what she's going to
Okay.
do.
Rashawn,
Yes.
let's get a little into your business. today's talk is going to be about what did you call it?
I called it wigs and hair pieces.
Okay.
So, a major part of my business here in the Washington, D.C. area are wigs, weaves, and hair pieces. Oh, okay, Joyce is coming back. Great. So the major part of my business is wig, weaves, and hair pieces. And so I spend a lot of time either creating
Mm-hmm.
wigs and hair pieces and weaves for women, hair pieces for men. And then
Uh-huh.
we also have the more medical side of the business where we are dealing with those who experience various forms of hair loss. And so we provide solutions, hair loss solutions for them.
Okay.
So a big part of it is either using stock pieces and customizing those or creating them from scratch. I prefer to create them from scratch because then it's just really customized specifically for the client. You don't really run into a lot of barriers with that.
Okay, which makes a lot of sense. Um, Here's a question before you get into it. Like today, I had a call, and we're part of Wigs for Kids, and
Hmm.
I've noticed a lot of people have been calling lately, wanting to just donate their hair, not to necessarily sent to Wigs for Kids, but they're wondering if a wig piece can be made specifically for someone that they may want to give that piece to. Um,
Hmm.
so I wanted you to kind of talk about that a little bit because
Sure.
I noticed people are going to be calling us for those various pieces that's only done
Mhm.
with their personal hair. So
Right.
can you bring us a little bit up to date on that as well?
Sure. Now, I'll tell you what I have done in the past. I have not used a client's personally donated hair to create a piece specifically for someone,
Hmm.
but because I've also started noticing how that has become a lot more popular. One
Yeah.
of my friends that is also in the area, she is in the process of perfecting a technique to utilize hair, creating personalized wefts. So
Okay.
that's something
Okay.
I'm watching, and I can't wait until she's really perfected it, because she's an awesome teacher. She's actually the one who showed me how to utilize the industrial sewing machine. And
Ooh.
for those who don't know, the industrial sewing machine, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people create wigs nowadays on a traditional sewing machine. The machine that I use here is it's a industrial. It's just bigger and bulkier. But the
Yes.
purpose for it is it allows me to create a piece that is a lot more sturdy and will withstand a lot more wear and tear. So it's
Okay.
great for a person who is not necessarily used to the delicacy of a hair piece because it becomes a lot more durable. So you get, um, I'll say, the durability of the hair piece that you will purchase in the store, but you're getting it from a more customized source. So
Okay.
I'm allowed to take your measurements and create the unit specifically for you, but you have the durability as if you had purchased it in the store. So that's the great thing about this machine. And so the young lady who taught me how to do that, I'm looking forward to learning from her how to use and or how
Hmm.
to create customized refs. Um, the other thing that I have done is I have taken hair from a donor and
Okay.
integrated it into a lace wig that it was already pre-made. So some people have wigs that, they're a lace wig that they've been wearing, and over time the hair starts to shed from the wig, especially from the lace
Absolutely.
area.
Hmm.
I did have one person tell me they wanted to donate hair for this person that had a unit. And so I was like, how does that work? But when I saw what they were talking about, they wanted me to use, instead of using stock hair or hair that I ordered to refill the lace of the wig, they wanted to use the donated hair for that. And it just so happened to be that the donor was the daughter, and the unit belonged to the mother.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. Okay.
she wanted to donate her hair to put in her mother's wig. And so I thought that was a great thing,
Yeah.
to be able, a great service to be able to provide.
That is a great service. I'm gonna tell you, um, and you're right. It's becoming to be most popular now.
Mhm.
Um, as a matter of fact, the first one, you learn as you go. But I had a dear friend of mine who, was going through the process of losing her hair due to cancer. And
Mhm.
her dear sweet daughters presented her hair to me in a Ziploc bag. And,
Okay.
and hey, make mom a wig. And,
Mhm.
I didn't really know how, but I was willing to try. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you what I did in my elementary stage. I laid all the hair out.
Mhm.
Of course, I had to get a good base to put the hair on, wig base, and I actually sewn each one by hand.
Mm. Oh wow.
I sewed each lock on by hand.
Okay.
And
Also, these were locks. Okay.
so I stitched them on by hand because I wasn't sure. I was not sure of what I was doing. I was not sure of how to do it with the machine. So I was like, well, I'm gonna stitch it. I actually stitched each one of those locks on by hand
Wow.
and delivered it to her. And I mean, it just, and I keep pictures of it today because to me, it was just so mind boggling to me. But the result of that is that I'm finding out people are asking me to do it more and more. So,
Mhm.
so what I'm going to say to you, this is worth learning
Mhm.
because people are going to call us all the time. And I think it's just really sweet when I have some of those people that want to take their hair and say, hey, do this, or your client may save their hair when they
Mhm.
lose it. They may say, hey, Dr. Rashad, is there any way you can take some of my, now they may not have enough hair,
Mhm.
when you get ready to make the wig per se, and you may have
Right.
to integrate some other hair in there to fill it out. But
Mhm.
surely I get calls like that the sorry,
Yeah.
all the
And you know what's funny? As you were talking about when you said locks, it just came
time.
back to my mind.
Uh-huh.
Um, so most people who have seen me, they will notice, especially when my hair is light, I have a little patch of hair here on my head that does not grow, right? And
Right.
so I used to have locks I guess, about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And when I had locks, of course, that space, the hair was very weak. So I could not wear certain styles that would, like, say, fall down on the side because then the area was exposed. That
Right.
I started working at that time trying to figure out how can I integrate or create an integration piece for myself. And
Cool.
I took what do you call it? This netting, you know,
Okay.
and I created locks by hand and I stitched them to the netting just in that little space. And then I took the net and placed it in that space, right? And then
Hmm.
sewed it to the locks that were around. So you had a filled in piece. So I was able to wear things that were down and it was not noticeable.
Cool.
It also helped when I wanted to pull things up or braid my hair to the back so you could
Right.
braid over it without it being noticeable. So
Now
there
you
are many,
that's
many
good.
things that you can do. You
Yeah.
know, you just have to have a slightly creative mind and
Yes, you
kind
do.
of think, how can we figure this part out?
That's cool. You know what? I think what somewhere in the near future we will probably come on and possibly have some heads that we
Mhm.
will make some integrational pieces for a certain spot
Mhm.
because I'm noticing that's the thing now. That's
Yeah,
what people are wanting.
right.
They love their wigs, Don't get me wrong, but who wouldn't want a piece if I only have hair here and
Right.
Rashawn, I really want to wear my hair and I want this to show and blah blah
Exactly.
blah blah blah. And you can actually make a piece that will flow right into it there. That right
Absolutely.
there puts you ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game. I totally agree. I'll tell you, Suzette, I had a client more recently. He was coming to me regularly. I'll say it started last year, probably
Okay.
about spring. And he
Okay.
was a younger gentleman. And I'm not quite sure of what his ethnicity was. I'll venture to say maybe Hispanic somewhere, or maybe like Indian. So it was like a cross somewhere in between there. But the texture of hair was it was straight hair, right?
Okay.
And so he said to me, he was like, I think I want to do a hair piece because my hairline is receding. So when I
Okay.
looked at him, I said, I don't think you really need a hairpiece. He was like, no, my hairline is receding. It did not used to look like this. And so I kept looking, I'm thinking, your hairline looks fine. But because he was very adamant about it, I said, okay. I said, well, what we'll have to do is because how thick your hair is, we will have to cut that hair off and pretty much just leave the sides. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
created pretty much a centerpiece for him, like a topper.
Right. Right.
And it was he wore that for months,
Okay.
and the thing was he would come to me to get it taken off and put back on. But then during the summertime, he was like, I noticed that I needed, placed back down a little more often because he played kickball. He did a lot of sports. He wanted to swim. So I kind of showed him how to maintain it himself. So that way he only had to come to me every month when we took the whole thing off and put it back on, right?
Okay. Okay.
Over time, I started thinking about it. If he's concerned with just
Uh-huh.
the hairline,
Okay.
all of this hair grows,
Uh-huh.
why not just do a piece for the hairline?
Right.
So
Right. Oh
eventually,
wow. Okay.
that's what I asked him. I said, it is a lot to take the whole thing off and to replace it. How do you feel about just a hairline piece? So he was like, well, what do you mean? I said, just a piece. You're concerned with bringing your hairline down some. So we'll do a piece that just fits right in the front and we'll go across. And I said, that will be a lot easier for you to maintain versus a whole piece. And so we ventured in to do that. And, that was my, I'll say, first experience with a guy using just a small part, in a prominent place, which is in the front.
Well, so in other words, people can actually get these pieces um to cover
Whatever it is
whatever that hair. Now,
mhm,
you know what? And I think that's what because a lot of people I know will use companies,
mhm,
and I have even ordered some, and they've either too thick, even though you tell them the density you want,
right.
tell them you tell them everything that you want, and they
And
still may
still
come
don't
off.
get
Yeah. So
it.
I'm finding out that the customs that are made specifically for that
Mhm,
client is the best one. Is the
absolutely.
best one
Yes,
because, and the reason why is because, first of all, um, it suits whatever they're in need of,
mhm,
and then Rashad, think about it. After you put that piece on, you're
mhm,
still able to take it off, like what you said, take it off, and you can do maintenance on that scalp. You can
right.
treat the scalp and all of that. And see, I think that's what's happening with a lot of people today. Um, Even those that's wearing wigs, if you're not taking that off
Mhm,
to work maintenance and care of that scalp, you're defeating the purpose.
right.
Because see, we're all for health, of course,
Mhm,
and I see that a lot of people will just wear that wig. I know, I get it. You don't want to leave without it being on your head, but hey, at some point in time, you got to take care
gotta
of
take
what's
it
up
off.
under there.
Right.
You got to take care of the scalp, the skin, all that's important. Can
Right.
you kind of shed some light on that?
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll say let's start with the younger group. So let's start before we even talk about those who may need it for a medical purpose or, due to hair loss. Let's just talk to the people who are wearing wigs for fashion. So we know that lace fronts and lace frontals and lace closure wigs, they're very popular right now.
Yeah.
For all age groups. I actually have a good girlfriend of mine who just told me her daughter, who I think is turning 15, now wants a lace front wig for her birthday. And so I was like, okay, that's really exciting. And she wants a lot of hair, Suzette, a lot of hair.
A
So
lot of
I
it?
was like, okay, a lot of hair. She
Okay.
wants like 20 inches. So I was like, this is, yeah, but she's, I'm sure it's gonna look amazing on her. But the thing is, my concern with people who wear the lace fronts that they are adhering down to their scalp is we have to understand that lace fronts were not created for people with hair. So, now we've had to innovate
Oh,
the product. Yes, lace fronts were
oh,
not created for people with hair, even though lace fronts, really started, say, in the movie and the picture industry, people would have to shave their
they,
hairline
to
to
put that
get the
lace.
wig exact.
You're right.
So now we are in the day and age where everybody has hair, or most people have hair. They have edge
Hopefully,
hair.
hopefully.
And, right. And we wanted to stay there. But they want to wear these wigs, but now we have all these products, right, that talk about do this, do that, to keep the hair and whatnot, slick the hair down, freeze the hair, do all this stuff. But we got to remember that these products, the lace front was not created for a person with hair. So when you're putting that lace front on, yes, you want it to lay at your normal hairline.
Right.
My suggestion always is create the hairline, pull it forward, create a hairline that mimics your hairline so that it doesn't look different, but you don't want the wig to lay on your hairline. You don't want the adhesive to be on your hairline because whatever it is, we got to remember that adhesives have alcohol, right? That's the drying factor in the adhesive. So with the alcohol, that's what freezes that hair. So you can just imagine if you take, say, like, I'm sure most people may be familiar with Pump It Up hair spritz. When you spray that Pump It Up on a piece of hair, you can almost snap that piece of hair like a twig once you're done. Because the alcohol dries that hair out so much, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so that's what all of these products do to your hair. It's
Yeah.
drying it. That's why it's staying still. So even if you say, I'm just using gel, I'm just using a little mousse, all of these products have alcohol in it. And that's the freezing factor. And that's what's holding your hair in place. But also in terms of, or in turn of hope of holding your hair, it's putting it in a weakened state. So when
Mm.
you go to take that lace front off, and you pull it, and that little speck of glue that is stuck to that piece of hair, it's going to pull that hair off because it's weakened the spritz or the alcohol content has weakened the hair, and now the glue is going to remove it. That's why now people are starting to innovate products. They're trying to figure out how can we create an adhesive that will dissolve to effectively release the lace front without damaging the hair. That's the
Wow.
type of product people want to really go after. They need a
Mhm.
product that's actually going to cater to maintaining the hair to the head and not just bonding the wig down and being able to take it off. And I'm not going to promote any particular product line.
Don't.
There are ones out there, there are ones that I personally keep up with, and I'm watching, and I'm like, what you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Came up with something new. And because they are, when you watch these companies now, they are quickly innovating because they are noticing that people are talking about the hair loss. They are noticing that people are talking about the staying factor of the adhesive. So they're
Absolutely.
trying to morph
Absolutely.
the product to make sure that it can stay on the hair, but it's not going to be damaging to the hairline.
You know something? Sonia wrote on here. I got to read what she's writing because she's hitting some key points.
Okay,
Um,
come on.
that's right, Sonia. Tell them what it is. She says, Sonia, her name is Sonia Yvonne Hill.
Okay.
Um, she says, you need to say that louder for the people in the back.
People in the back.
I know. But she says, just about every demo that I see, pieces are applied onto an established hairline.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is the danger. This is why we do Let's Talk About It. Because look, we get to see the aftermath
Mm-hmm.
of what happens after
Right.
people have worn them. Now, I do apply some on some of my clients, but this is what I tell my clients. My clients that do wear lace fronts don't wear them for a long period of time.
Yes.
And not only that, they come and they get maintenance done. See, it's a difference in you applying at home and you just wanted to stay. And I've seen people just reapply, you know, just on top because they ain't ready to take it off. Not knowing just what you say here, the damage that's going on up under there. See, that's the thing. And then when it gets so damaged, then it's on us. Then we got to try to, and they come and I want my hair back. A lot of the damage is done, and sometimes that hair is just gone. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to wear a lace front.
Right.
You can go ahead and lay your lace front on down because you don't have any edges, or you know what I'm saying. But then too, Dr. B, it can go a little further than that because they're making adhesive so fast, and it's made with a lot of synthetic base, you know, and like you said, with a lot of alcohol in it, and it is tearing our skin up. It's destroying. And it can get so bad, you know. And I've seen pictures. I do have pictures of where it has gotten so bad till it has gotten in the bloodstream. And I mean, the scalp is just messed up. You can't even put a wig on now, much less a hat.
Right.
You know, Countess Vaughn was a great example.
She was a superb example of that. And you know what? And if, you know, to her credit, when I saw what had happened to her, I was very surprised because you would have never known, right?
You're right.
But I was very surprised, and I had to think to myself, why would you let somebody do that? But at that time, we were really ignorant of the ramifications.
You know what,
so
really?
She's on a TV show where she has to constantly have these hairstyles, and you know they're constantly putting it on, and they're not giving the skin any time to breathe in between. You know, they're, I'm sure, just gluing that thing on so that it stays on, and they're doing the best they can. But you know, time tells, and after time, we started to see what has happened. You know, and so not only does, unfortunately, you know, she has no hair on the hairline. The picture that I saw, the hairline was completely irritated.
It was
red and white. And so you're at the point where now you can't even adhere anything to that. You know, and so I thought that was a very unfortunate case, but I start to see it quite often, especially in my area here, where we have a lot of younger girls. I don't really consider DC a college town, but we have several universities here, right?
Okay.
And so we get a lot of young ladies who are into that fashion of wearing lace front wigs, and they've been in the dorm rooms and they're gluing it down. They got a girlfriend across the hall gluing it this way. They got this one over here getting ready to go outside, gluing it that way. So they gluing, right? And then when they come into the salon, they say, oh, I just want to get my hair treated. And they go to take that wig off. I'm sitting there looking like,
wow.
What you
now
gonna do?
What? I mean, now what?
What we gonna do? Because you have no hairline, it's completely irritated. And then when I tell them, you know, I'm sorry, in good conscience, I cannot reapply or readhere this wig to your skin, you know, they get a little upset. Most of them, they say, Oh, okay. But I know in my mind, you going right back to the dorm room and you going to glue it back on yourself. You know what I mean? Because they don't, at that point, you almost feel like you don't have any options, right?
Well,
And the options
yeah,
that we provide are not necessarily what they want to hear.
that's
So
it.
when we tell them, you know, okay, you can wear a wig, but you can't bond it down. They're too insecure, you know, in wearing a wig that's not adhered to their head because it doesn't look totally natural. Or they're scared somebody going to pull it off, or they're scared it's going to fall off for whatever reason. They have a lot of insecurities with wearing wigs, and those are normal insecurities for a lot of people who wear hair pieces.
Right.
But we have to remember that there's a reason why we don't do that. So I tell most of my clients, my advice to them is, and I don't make a standard practice of bonding wigs down. I tell them that I really advise against it because it's difficult for you to keep up yourself, and you may not want to incur the expense to come back and have it treated every so often. If you have your pocketbook looks like that, yeah, hey, come on in. But everybody's pocketbook is not like that. So I
Sure.
try to give them that option. Let's make the wig glueless for you. So where you can wear it and it can feel secure on your head,
And
but it
natural.
doesn't have to be bonded down, you know? And that
Okay.
will leave room for your scalp to breathe. That leaves
Absolutely.
room for your hair to be treated in between. You know, it just gives you a lot more option in terms of taking care of your hair versus just slapping it down and gluing it.
You know, here's something else that was sent to us. Let me read it to you. I'm loving this. Okay.
Oh,
Sonia says actresses always have hair damage because of appearance.
mhm,
She also said young folks are the worst at taking care of their hair. It's
mhm.
all about low self-esteem and appearance. Now, I agree with that. Let me say this, and this is what I see a lot of, Dr. B. Now, fashions come and fashions go. They
Mhm.
come in and they come out. Um, the lace front wigs when they came in with a bang. They
Mhm.
came with a bang, and you just saw everybody capitalizing on lace fronts. I want to shed some light to real lace fronts. Real
Mhm.
lace fronts are not that plastic,
Mhm.
what we call lace, and it's hard and
Right.
it bites and all that.
Mhm.
That's not the that's a
That's
man-made
not lace.
material, and no, that's not it.
That is not lace.
That's not lace. Now, those are being sold a lot of places.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've had people to come to me and say, hey, Dr. Robinson, I brought this wig. Want to know if you can do the installation on it. I look at it and I have to just, because I'm an educator, I'm going to educate them and say, hey, listen, first of all, this is not lace.
Mhm.
This is not lace. Okay. And second of all, you don't know if you're going to be allergic to this or how
Mhm.
it's going to, we just don't know. I would not suggest that we use this at all. If
Right.
you're going to wear a good wig,
Mhm.
hairpiece, let's get it from a reputable company. Let's get you the right material that will not irritate you. Well, first of all, you got people, they're not going to spend the money. I get it. I get it. But you're going to spend some money if you put this on. I
Yeah.
promise you, because you're going to have irritation. And a
Right.
lot of times people may think I'm saying this because I don't want you to buy a
Mhm.
wig from me.
Mm-mm.
I want you to buy one that you can wear, period.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you never purchase one from Wigs by Suzette, it'll be okay. But what I'm saying is that my job is to be truthful to you when you bring those in. When people come to you and they have that lay so hard you can't bend it.
Listen, because it's exactly what you said in the beginning. It's plastics.
It
It's
is plastic,
woven plastic. That's it. That
and
is
it will cut into your
it
skin.
will cut your skin. That thing is so rough. And
Yeah.
you know what? And so when I first started working with lace, the instructor that I was under, he said, there's many types of lace. And the thing is, you have to figure out what type of durability that you need.
Okay.
Lace
Okay.
is not cheap.
I like.
Okay. So
like
the finer the lace that you get, generally the little more expensive it is. So now we're starting to see, so like in the wig making world, we know that there's pretty much like there's opera lace, there's French lace, and then there's Swiss lace, we call it. In the consumer market, they have entitled it, you have your brown lace, which tends to be like your regular everyday,
Yeah.
your lower end. Then you have like your transparent lace, and then now they've come out with the HD lace. And so, it kind of mimics the same scale as we do in the, say, the wig making world.
Right. Right.
The thing is that now we have to understand as consumers that companies come up with things for the consumer. So when, like you said, lace fronts became very popular and they came in and they hit us on the market, everybody wanted one. The consumer brands had to say, how can we create this product and get it to the in the hands of the consumer, but for a economical price? That's where you get that hard lace, because in order for them to sell it to you, for you to get a lace front wig for $50, you have to get, it's almost like the cheapest lace that you can get,
Yeah.
And the higher you spend, and so like you said, we're not trying to say buy a wig or a unit from us. I'm just here to educate you on what it is that you're getting. And so with that being said, you invest in your product, which means you put your money in on the front end, right? That's what your investment is. You put that money in when you're purchasing the unit. You don't want to have to spend money on the tail end after that wig has broken you out, after it's tore up your skin, after your hairline has fallen out, and now you have to spend hundreds of dollars in order to try to get that hair to come back.
Absolutely.
Do it right for yourself in the beginning. Invest in your product. And so I like to work with, a mid-grade lace, something that's affordable, but it's not going to necessarily be the cheapest thing on the market, and then we have to understand that all of our clients have different price points.
Absolutely.
So you definitely want to have something that's going to meet everybody's budget, but you want to stay away from the things that are going to be harmful for them. So like those store-bought lace front wigs, when a lady comes in and she says, oh, I bought this, and she come digging in her little bag and she starts pulling stuff out, and I say, baby, what's that? It come out of that little like oval shaped box, and she slide it out of there. I know that lace is going to be good and hard, and I'm gonna start telling, this is not the best thing for you. If you're talking about, okay, you're going to wear this just for the weekend because you're going away, and okay, fine, but guess what? We're not gluing that down. That lace is too rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so either take it back and get something that you can really, really make use out of, or I would just say don't bother with that at all, because again, that lace will tear your skin up. If you ever felt it and you rub it across your hand, that is
it will cut you.
Like sandpaper. It
will cut you.
And so imagine that on the delicate skin you have on your head.
Think about it. Your outer perimeter of your around your face, the outer perimeter of your hair is the most delicate area of and back to weaves, when you were talking about how someone wanted to get their hair put on, they wanted a lot of weave on. That's another thing, that pulling. And I know we're going to do a segment on children with a lot of weave. That's going to be next week, but that's another issue. But it is so important to know the correct way to wear, what to wear, how to wear it. and the importance of what would happen if you use the wrong things when
Yes.
you're wearing those. Let me
Mhm.
read this that was sent. Um, Wigs resurfaced and became more popular than ever in the mid 2000s. Okay, with the popularity of the lace front wig. The lace front wig introduced a natural looking alternative to the traditional wig and all, oh, I got to click and read more, and allowed women to switch up hairstyles without looking unnatural.
Mhm.
So it came on the scene. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. It came on the scene during 2000. Okay, but this is what's happening. As Dr. B was stating, and if any of you all have been following us and heard, um, um, Joyce Gilliard was on the show, and she was talking about it. She gave us a little bit about what she does in the theater and movie industry,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
film industry. So wigs like these have been around for a long time, but let me say this: the material that you see in film and in theater, and when you're looking at the TVs and you see all this pretty, that hair is so different
Mhm.
compared to what we're purchasing now from just a commercial consumer
Right.
place. And I want to say this not to put anybody down, but to kind of educate us to really take inventory on where we buy our lace front wigs, or not just lace front wigs, period. Because
In
Dr.
general.
B, I found out some of these wigs are made out of plastic,
Mhm.
made out of real, I mean, serious. The fibers, the hair fibers are
Mhm.
plastic. So just think if you're that person that's allergic to the material, and I've seen it happen. It happened to a friend of mine. When that weave hit her face like this, all this
Mhm.
was, she was, I mean, all that, I just awful. And so, you don't want to take a risk on having any type of allergic reaction because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So even when we buy this hair, like this hair I use for these braids, I'm particular about what hair I use because you can't just go buy, oh, buy me a 99-cent pack.
Right. Mhm.
Believe you me,
Good in plastic.
it's good in plastic, and and it has some kind of coating on it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how they're treating this hair is coming over here so fast. They shipping hair over here so fast. I mean, it's not being treated.
Mhm.
It's coated with all kind of man-made
Mhm.
material, and
Mhm.
you just don't know. You just don't want to take a chance on this. Is just too risky in my eyesight. It is too risky, and so I've seen it happen,
Mhm.
and I hate to see it happen to little children. I just hate to
Right.
see it happen because we won't take time to educate ourselves
Mhm.
and get the correct things that we need.
Right.
So, Dr. B, that's why we're talking about wigs today and hair pieces and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I know you got some more information, so I'm gonna be quiet.
No, well, you know what? To that, I'll just say, I think I mentioned it on a previous show when we talk about the state of the hair. Once it comes over to us. So I had a friend of mine who told me it was a couple of years ago now. She said, I'm starting to notice that a lot of people are having a lot more reactions, and they
Uh-huh.
don't understand what it is, but it's really a reaction to the hair. So I said, really? So she said, yeah. She said, so I think I'm going to start cleansing all of the hair that I use, because 9 times out of 10, like you said, when a client comes in and they're getting braids, You know, they come in with their pack. Now, I remember when I used to get my hair braided, the packs were 3 for $5, and you only needed your hair. So you had $5. You had a good hairstyle. You paid the hairstyle. You know, so it was really inexpensive. And we took that hair right from the pack and put it right in our head, right? Now, like you said, the rate that we're receiving here, you can look at the price points. It's not even the 3 for $5 anymore. It's 99 cents per pack, right? So you got to think if the price has dropped down, what's different at this point?
Okay. 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 That's yay. You
Okay.
hit it. Here's the nail head, and you hit it. That's
Okay.
it. Nobody's looking at that though.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Just totally that's out of the oh, it just done went down. No, honey.
No,
Cheap ain't always good.
that's
There's
right.
a reason.
That's
There's
right.
a reason. Okay, good. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm just whoop. Okay.
So, you know, so she said, you know, I think I'm going to start doing an apple cider vinegar rinse for all of my hair. And then as I started to do other educational classes with people and they started talking about, they said, well, you know, even the hair that we order from our vendors overseas, you need to make sure you cleanse that hair, right? Because you want to make sure that you get rid of the impurities, not necessarily, and last week we were talking about parasites, not necessarily that the hair has any parasites or lice or anything like that, but there is a way that hair is prepared to go forth out into the market. And so you want to strip all of that down. So if you look, those who are hair buyers, when you look, as a matter of fact, I think I have some hair down here and I'm gonna show it to you. So here I have, you know, just a regular old piece of hair, right? And you guys, you can see it has a shine to it.
Right.
That shine is a coating that is put on the hair so that it will shine, right?
Absolutely.
So when
Absolutely.
you rinse this hair in, say, apple cider vinegar, and the way I kind of figured out with a friend of mine, we said you don't rough the hair up, right? You just take it and you usually have it in a bundle and you can take it and just dip it down into the rinse. And so when you do that and you take the hair out, the hair pretty much looks the same. It's just not as shiny. But when you look at that water, you'll start to see all the impurities that are
yes,
in
you
the water.
will.
All
yes,
of the
you
stuff
will.
that's used to coat the hair is in the water. You've known now that you have cleansed the hair of a lot of the chemical that is used to prepare the hair. And now it's safer to be deposited or put onto your client's head because it does not have as much of the chemical preparation
on it
that it did. So that was one of the good things that I learned with her. And that's why I said it's education when you, in terms of, I think because we're servicing people, we have to stay educated so that we're aware of various things that happen. And so the same thing like you were saying with wigs that you buy from the store, those things are not always as they seem. A lot of people will go to a store and they will pick up a wig and it says human hair wig, clear as day across the pack, right? So you buy that wig and you think, I done got me a good old human hair wig for $49.99. And you know, it was $49.99 at regular price. It was on sale for $25. So I done got a steal for a whole human hair wig for $25. You know that in order for it to be classified as a human hair wig, there's only a certain percentage of human hair that has to be in that wig.
Wow.
And so that's where we come into, you know, with human hair blends.
Because it has
you have a few, you know, strands of it, but they say, oh, you can curl it, but don't curl it on too high.
Yeah.
Now, human hair, right now our flat irons go up to 450, 460 degrees, right? Try putting 460 degrees on some of them wigs. You won't have no wig.
It'll melt. It'll melt. It'll
So
melt.
that goes to show you that everything that is said to you is not what is necessarily true, and that you have to really look at, when you talk about hair, what you're really getting, to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need.
You know, I'm glad you said that though, because y'all, let's really put some thought into, if we were really caring, and this goes out to the professionals that's on here. If you're listening to this, I'm talking to you.
You, talking to you.
If you're a professional, you should be so cautious on the materials that you use on your clients. Till we're the ones that help educate our clients to use better material, how to how to properly purchase a good wig or weave or whatever. We set the standards, but now if we start just taking anything that's brought in and
Nope.
use it on them, then you know, I question, what type of professional are you? Because we're supposed, and you know what, when I first started in cosmetology, which is in the 80s, and yeah, I'm a little seasoned, but and when I started, we were taught not to buy any of our things that we were going to use in the salon out of a beauty supply store
By store,
that
right.
was not certified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have that many certified beauty supply stores, so to speak, like we used to. You used to go to Sally's. You know what I'm saying? You used to go where people had to be certified to sell products to professionals like us, you know, like. But now, you know, you can look on just about every corner. There's a beauty supply store over there. There's one over there. There's a wig store right there that they sell it in the grocery store. You name it. I mean, check this out. Dollar General is selling weave. I was so out selling hair in there. But yeah, selling hair. People buying the little bit of pack, hair all fold all up in there for what, $3, $2, or whatever they selling it for. My point that I'm saying is that just because people are selling stuff, you need to analyze where you're getting all your products from. Okay? I think I'm gonna say this until I can't say it anymore. Hair that you buy, you know, there's a sale. We got it in the box right here, right here. Get it. Just people just going through the box. You don't want that hair. I don't buy any hair that's been sitting on the floor. Anything can get in there. And we talked about parasites last week. If you didn't catch us last week, go back and look at the replay. Parasites are real. They're in these wigs that you wear. They're in that weave that you put on here. And they're even in some of that thread that they sell, Dr. So, you know, we got to be careful because, look, we love what we're doing. Don't get us wrong. But I do not want to see so many people with so many issues, so many disorders, so many scalp issues. And I mean, the skin just done been so messed up till it's discolorated. You know what I'm saying? So they got to always cover their head.
Right.
I wear a wig. I want to wear it because I want to change the way I look.
Exactly.
I want to, you know, just because I want to, not because I have to, not because Dr. B, I done took my edges done went from here to here.
Back there.
I'm back here somewhere, you know? And so, but B, that's what we see now. And I'm finding out those fibers in those wigs, the materials that they're making the wigs with is made out of plastic, you name it, all kind of stuff, and it's irritating people's scalp.
Right.
But see, a lot of times, back to what you said last week, remember this?
And I was just about to bring that back up.
Yeah. Go ahead and say what you was going to say about that.
Well, so when we talk about the materials that are use to create wigs, and we're talking about the hair, you know, as well as, you know, the possible parasite. We used to laugh when we would say, you know, everybody was patting their head, you know, the hairstyle was
We
cute.
did.
And, you know, that was it. When I thought back about it afterwards, I said, that was when people were wearing those freeze hairstyles, right? You know, those sculptured updos, and they didn't want their hair out of place, so they would pat, you know, because it was itching, or they would take something, a little pin, and sticking it. Understand that why was the scalp itching?
Yeah.
The alcohol content in that spray is so high, it has not only freeze dried the hair, but it has started to dry the scalp out, right? That's what's creating the itch. An itch is really a reaction to something that the body is saying, this is not right. We have to start listening to our bodies on a lot of different levels. And so as we move forward and we start doing the weaving, or say like the braids, because that's when I noticed it next, was with the braiding. Everybody, cute hairstyles. We have our individuals, we have our fishtail, we got this, we got the goddess, we got everything going on, right? But then we patent because we don't want to knock the hair out of place. The reason you're patent is because your scalp is telling you, I'm having a reaction to something you have put on me. Yeah. That hair, we're not saying that the hair was dirty. We're not necessarily saying that, you know, there's something wrong with the hair. We're just saying that whatever is in the hair, your body is telling you, I don't like it. It's not for me. Everybody can't wear the same thing. The braids that you have, the same pack of hair that you use may affect me adversely, right? So we all have to understand where the things are coming from. And that's where, like, I like what you said, you got to be careful where you get your stuff from. Me personally, when I decided I was going to start doing custom units, I was very selective. It took me a while to figure out, where am I going to get hair from? Where am I going to get the caps from for my wigs? Where am I going to get this thread from? Because I want to make sure that these products that I'm using, especially like the caps and your thread, these are all hypoallergenic products. Absolutely. So that, you know, my clients would not have a reaction. So like here I have, oh, this is not the one. Oh, I done snatched the lady ball.
They done snatched the lady hair off. She's mad with you.
Put it right back on her, dear.
That's so pretty.
Thank you. This is one. So this is a unit that I have created. It is a, what do you call it? It's a closure unit. Okay. And so it took me a while to be able to find these caps that are hypoallergenic. Right. That are made, that it's used to make, they're hypoallergenic. So it's, can you see it?
And it's showing, I think your
there we go.
There it is. There you go.
Kind of see it. Oh, so, you know, it looks like a standard wig cap, but the great thing about this wig cap, it was dissolvable. So I was able to soak it and then wet it, and the inside dissolved out. But the material is hypoallergenic, it's soft. So those who, if I put this on, say, a client who may be, say, during their chemo process, right, or, you know, recovering, they don't have a lot of hair, right? Nobody wants something that's hard scratching against their scalp. Or if they have finished their treatment and their hair has started to grow back in, you don't want anything that's going to roughly scrape that hair and start knocking it out, right? So you want to make sure that your product is really soft, you know, and the same thing with your lace. Make sure you have a soft lace, you know, so that it, again, doesn't rub that hair out, so that it doesn't scrape the scalp or the skin. So that was one of the things that I just wanted to show you in terms of, you know, getting certain products and making sure that you're careful where you get things. Absolutely. From. It takes a little time, but it's definitely worth the investment.
Well, you know something, you showed something though, that particular unit that you have in your hand, that it's almost like the integration chain for when, if there's still, if some are still going to the dermatologist and they need to get those injections, you know, you got that integration chain where they can
Mhm.
still go in and put the injection. Because
Yes.
some people don't want to go and just take their wigs off. And
Right.
dermatologists, being a specialist, we have to make sure whatever unit we use for people that's still going to see their dermatologist or whatever, or going to see the oncologist, you want to make sure that that unit is fashioned where if that physician needs to go in and do injections, they'll still be able to get in there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I like that unit that you have. And also, I know people are making wigs all over. I
Mhm.
get it. But when this what I want people to understand. When you're doing medical wigs, you can't call every unit a medical wig. I found
Absolutely.
that out working along with Blue Cross Blue Shield and
Mhm.
working alongside Cancer Center. Some people, will go and get a unit done.
Mhm.
And when it's time for, let's just say, Cigna to pay, because that particular unit does not have the medical grade
Mhm.
material, they will not pay.
Not cover it. Mhm.
They will not pay. Now, even though you're to do the unit before you actually get your money,
Mhm.
okay? So once you put it through, if the material is not deemed medical,
Mhm.
especially now since COVID-19 has made its arrival, the stipulations are really high
Yes.
for us now, which is fine because we just need to follow directions, get the
Make
right material, and go about it the right way. Okay,
Mhm.
because some people feel as if they can just turn in a claim and whoop, they're gonna get it. That's not guaranteed. You may not get your money,
Mhm.
and that's just, oh well. But point in case is this: I do understand why some of the rules are going to change due to the fact that um, we've got to be health conscious. You know, even if you're certified and you're now working with a burn center, you can work with a burn center. Some guys need hair where they
Mhm.
might have had a head injury and this is missing or whatever, and they will, depending on how well you get all of your ducks in a row, have your units correctly put together for their need, will they call on you? And that makes sense because I think a lot of times people think what we do, you can just learn it and do it, or you can, just because you can make a wig, you can get it. They're not doing that anymore. They're making us, we got to go through every
Ah,
little, yeah, we've got to follow directions, and it makes sense because um, you're dealing with people's health. This
I
is
would.
important.
Yes.
You're dealing with their health. And when you're working with cancer, like you brought up the issue about the cancer patients and how the wigs have to be made out of certain material because the skin, look, y'all got to think about it. When they've gone through radiation, the skin has totally changed.
Mhm.
So certain things, it can really irritate them. They're
Yep.
not going to let that pass
Mhm.
because you got to have the right materials for their need, okay? Because the skin is very delicate,
Mhm.
all the way down to the smell. I know when I'm working with them, we can't have perfume on and we can't have lotion that
Mhm.
have smells to it because their their
Very
sense of smell
sensitive.
is so
Mhm.
sensitive. And so you want to respect that because you're there to be a help to them.
Mhm.
Okay. So stuff that may not bother you will bother them. So
Right.
we have to be, this is why training is so important. And sometimes I listen to people, they tell me, oh, I ain't got to do all that. I know how to do this. And I just say, okay then.
Okay.
I don't go in no long speech or tell them what they should. If they can do it, then God bless them. I'm gonna do it right, so nothing comes back on me.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. It is so important that um, we really make sure that we're doing what's right for our clients because, like you said, in what we do, they're experiencing, number one, they're experiencing a trauma that will weigh on them emotionally,
Oh
right?
yes,
But
yes,
then
most
also they may have a health issue that's weighing on them. So they have two things that they're dealing with. You don't want to add something on top of that. And then you don't want to be the cause of that, and nor do you want to reap the repercussions of
yeah,
any issues that they may have.
absolutely,
So you want to
absolutely.
make sure that all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed when you're talking about your products, your materials, and all those type of things, especially when you're talking about lending it to the medical industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dr. B, I have seen some of your units. Um, I think they're beautiful, and I love the way you make them. I would love for you to, well, they would have to take a class to see that, but um,
What's that?
some how to, in the near future, are you gonna do any classes on wig making?
I would, I've kind of, so I've held off on doing classes, especially with my industrial machine, because the young lady who taught me, there are only a few of us in the area. I think there's only 3 of us in like this small area that use the machine. And so we kind of, kept it amongst ourselves. She taught classes. And if you wanted to do a class, everyone else, we all suggest like go to her because she's the one who taught us. And so we would do that. And now recently she has decided that she is going to actually do release a lot of information, more information than she usually does. So now I think I am going to venture into doing the classes for that. There are some other classes that I would like to do, from just the basic wig making, by hand.
Right.
Because some people, I had thought that people had moved from that. They were like, oh, who makes them by hand? A lot of people still want to be able to make
I
them
still
by
make,
hand,
I think
right?
so.
But what you learn when you become good at it, that's what you tend to stick with because that's what works for you.
Well, it's
You know,
good therapy for me. I
I
am
started learning how to do it by hand, but I'm not a very quick stitcher. And so I noticed that it would take me like 4 hours to do a wig. And
oh
I'm like,
wow.
there has to be a quicker way,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And um, I already know how to sew. So I said, okay, I happen to be in Atlanta. I said, there's this lady,
Right.
phenomenal with it. I'm going to sit with her. And she was amazing in teaching me how to do this, and it was one of the best classes that I've had in the years that I've been taking classes, because, usually a class is 4 hours, maybe 6 hours. And so I remember asking her, I said, Angela, how long is this class going to be? She said, until you're comfortable in the knowledge that you got it right. And so I'm
Right.
like, oh, okay. So we're going to sit here and sew. Suzette, we sewed for 13 hours
Oh,
to the
cool.
point where my eyes were tired. And, things were starting to happen. She said, okay, you've had enough because your eyes are tired. And I was like, no, let me just finish. She was like, no. She said, that's it. When you start not being able to sew neatly and do things, you've had enough. You get up from it, you come back to it later. But that was one of the things that really pushed and catapulted me into doing wigs by machine. And then I
Right.
happened to see the young lady in my area who was on the industrial machine. And I was like, huh, well, girl, what's that thing? And so I saw a young lady I think she's in Florida. And she said to me, the girl who taught me is in your area. Reach out to her. And I
So,
started following her page and I started watching her. And I was like, that it would make it so much easier, because I wish I could show you the various parts of it, but it has a ball on it. So when you sew on a regular sewing machine, you're sewing flat, right? But you're
right.
creating a unit that's not made to lay flat.
No,
It
it's
needs a curvature.
yeah.
So this particular machine, it has a ball on it, so you can roll as you're creating the wig. You're rolling it like this, so it
So
creates
it's
the natural curve of the head.
cool.
It is, and it just moves so much quicker. So I absolutely love it, and that's one of the things that I really look forward to being able to share with people in, classes how to utilize this machine. Everybody may not do it because it is a hefty investment. The machine itself is very expensive. So I understand that everybody may not be able to do that, but I would say most people can get a regular sewing machine. Once you get the taste
Right.
of doing it on a sewing machine, you will probably, if you
Yeah.
say, I really take this seriously, you will want to elevate and move on to the next type of machine. And
That's
so
right.
that to me, has been the greatest part of, I'll say, my career in wigs.
Well, you know what? I think you have given us some wonderful and enlightening information, um, because we do see a lot of this. Um, I think once everything is back where I can get back into, because I got a call from the hospital, and we're not ready to go back in because, it's such a, we got to kind of wait until this come down, because when you're dealing with cancer patients or people in general, not just cancer, but people that are have immune deficiencies and stuff like that. You really want to be at the top of your game before you go in there with them. Many
Absolutely.
people ask me, how did you get into the hospital? And I tell them, like I told you, Dr. B, many people take these, I'm going to stay on you. Many of us take these classes, and, I can say, hey, when you take this class, go fill out this paper, get this paper done, do this paper, do this, this. Then call me, then we'll move to next level, to next level, next level. Well, some is only right here, okay? And I can't take them to the hospital with me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, because if they hadn't done everything, they can't get in, because they're serious about you
Mm-hmm.
having everything. I don't know if I shared with you, I think we talked about it. That P2P now is a testing site. P2P has turned into a testing site, with the American Medical Association.
Mm-hmm.
P2P now is, Dr. Robinson is now a certified, I've already been a non-surgical practitioner, but I'm now with the holistic part with the medical board. So what I'm saying is that you can go so far into this till and you learn so much. Right now we're learning about the whole body. We're learning all the parts of the body. And it's just mind-boggling. My mother wanted me to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Bless her heart.
Look at you now.
I didn't want to do that because people die, and couldn't handle that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had no plan, B. I had no plan on what I was gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister-in-law talked me into going to cosmetology. I said, well, that ought to be an easy A. That's just fixing. Who don't know? Oh my God, I got in there and everybody was roller set, and I couldn't even do a roller set. It was like I was just, my fingers couldn't get it and my mind couldn't. But I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept trying. And I tell people by the time I turn 60, which will, in a couple of years, when I turn 60, I will be able to sit down and just watch the fruits of my labor,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so during this pandemic, it gave me time to really get things in order. And you and I have been talking more, and I'm learning from you, you're learning from me, and we're just I see how this thing is really blossoming out and how it's evolving into something entirely different than what I thought it could be. And so I'm glad you took the time today, because normally you be standing up doing some hair right about now, but but you took time out to talk to us and help us all understand how important it is to get the proper wigs, weaves, Even down the thread, y'all. Y'all may think this stuff is so minute, but y'all, I promise you, if you do your research and see where some of this stuff comes and how it comes from other countries to us and what it has gone through, I promise some of you will not even touch. And it's tearing our people apart. B, am I making this up?
Nope. Nope.
It's tearing our people up. I talked to Dr. Pam Hill today, and Pam showed me some pictures. Pam is doing a wonderful job in her state. I mean, she's doing an excellent job with hair restoration.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked. We're seeing this. If you're not seeing it, I don't know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not seeing it, you will see it. And it will be some things that you don't have a name for. Like when we was talking about that parasite last week, which we still got to work on this case, but I'm just saying, these are things that are happening. So we're trying to shed light on a dark situation where we need to educate our people on making sure you get the proper things.
Mm-hmm.
Lace fronts are not plastic. You heard Dr. B made a statement. I think I'm going to remember that. He said originally lace fronts were not supposed to go on top of the hair. Am I right?
Correct.
Correct. Normally they would do what, B?
Shave it off.
Yeah. But see now, I mean, I have one, I ain't gonna call her name, but I know someone. And they have worn it so long, when they do take that wig off, they need to put their wig on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people really have to think about what they're doing. Like I often describe it to people in terms of, say, the adhesive is, think of your skin like when you get a cut and you put a Band-Aid on it. Mm-hmm. And say like you cut your finger, you wrap the Band-Aid around it. The next day when you go to take that Band-Aid off, your the skin looks kind of soggy and it's like white. That's because it has been deprived of the oxygen that keeps the skin healthy and keeps it, in the state that it should be in. That's the same thing that happens to your hairline. When you adhere the wig and you keep it on, for days, and then you stick some more glue up in there because it's coming off, and you keep it on, and before you know it, 2 and 3 weeks have come by. And you say, okay, well, I'm gonna take it off, but now I gotta put it right back on because I don't want anybody to see me without my wig. You put it back on, you've deprived the skin for days at a time of the oxygen that it needs for it to be healthy skin, right? So it starts to break down. Then as you start to put more adhesive on it, different things can happen to the skin. It starts to tear a lot easier. So then you start to get the little lesions, or you get cuts and things like that. So my thing that I want people to take away from our talk this evening, again, like you said, it's very important that you be mindful of where you're getting your things from, but also it's important to keep the health of your scalp in mind when you're doing these various things. A lot of these things are trends, and the lace front is a long-lasting trend, and I think it will be around for a while because people are able to get so many styles. They're able to switch up their styles. They're able to go from long to short to big hair to a little flat bob. They can do all these things, and it is very exciting. But we also have to remember we have hair underneath. We have a scalp to tend to underneath, and we want to keep those things healthy because one day wigs may not be the current style, and you do want to have hair to be able to do of your own.
That's true. I don't think we thought about that. One day they may take these wigs out.
One day. Well, but you know what, unfortunately, Dr. Robinson, what I see is there will be the time when the wigs will not be as popular, but there will still be a lot of business on our end because there are a lot of people who are damaging the scalp and the skin at this point, so they will still need to be provided with wig services, hair piece services, because unfortunately the longer they wait to tend to their skin at this point, the skin will start to not be able to regenerate hair. The follicles will close down. They will become destroyed. And so you won't be able to grow any hair. And then you will really need the services of your non-surgical hair replacement specialist.
True. And we'll be there. I promise you.
Be there. Just knock on my door.
Yeah, I answer. You're so funny. Well, yeah, this has been such a wonderful time. I really want to thank those that was corresponding with us while we were on live. Grateful for that. Continue to share, like, as always. Please put your information in. If it's a topic that you want us to talk about, and we will. I did get one that someone wants us to talk about, and I promised them that we would kind of talk about it on next week. And it'll be dealing with little kids and weave and how much hair is too much.
More than their natural.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about.
Interesting topic because I have a couple of different, viewpoints on that. So yeah, that's a very interesting.
We need to talk about, and then I have some pictures that we're gonna kind of try to share, so you can at least look and see, so we can kind of. I say our topics are to help educate, help enlighten those that need because you know what, this is something we don't really talk about a lot. We don't talk about it. We will talk about it to each other or stand there looking at somebody, look at that hair going with me. Well, I don't want to just talk about it. I want us to be able to have solutions. This whether you know it or not, this is a pandemic to me. To see people standing, I look and I was like, oh, what is going on? So we're going to talk about that. I have put on there, if you have any questions or comments, send to p2pinformation7@gmail.com. I put it down in the message part of this this live. So Dr. B and myself, we're grateful to be able to come to you with this topic. And I'm hoping Dr. B will post some of his wigs on the post of some. You can see some of them. I do want to say this before getting off. I remember one time we had let's talk about it. It was in our earlier stages when Greg Bazemore was on. He took some hair actually and put it in a pot while we were on, and he boiled it, and we was able to see the metallic that came out of the residue that came out of the hair. So, I agree with you 100%, Dr. B. We do need to take time as professionals, even if we get hair. Y'all go ahead and do the necessities of cleaning their hair before putting it on. It's just like these bras that you buy, women. Some of them you need to put in the wash machine before you put them on. Okay? Yes, we've got to y'all, we got to wake up. We've been asleep a long time, but now is the time to wake up. Now, I appreciate Dr. B. Dr. B, could you tell me the name of your business?
Sure. My business here in Washington, D.C. is called TRC Beauty, Grooming, and Hair Replacement. So those are the three things that I do. I handle regular styling services, also grooming services for men, as well as hair replacement services for those who need it. I'm located here in Washington, D.C. on the U Street corridor. I work out of a beautiful salon space called Shapes Beauty Bar, where we all are about the total body experience. So we have a lot going on in there. We have someone that caters to the nail services. We have a few people that cater to the hair service. We have a young lady that does amazing body contouring and sculpting work. So we are a total wellness, well, not wellness, but a total beauty center where people can come. My specialty is dealing with generally natural hair straightening and extensions. I do a lot of extension work as well as creating the wigs and weaves. So it's a place where you can come and get a little bit of everything.
Right. Well, it's good to know. Once everything clear and I'm able to travel, I'll be back to DC.
Come on.
I'll be back to DC. So we're honored and we're thankful. I want to thank all the students that have enrolled this time for the P2P. Lord, I almost forgot the name of the school. P2P Certification and Training Institute. We have new students, and I'm grateful for that. Online classes are going well. I haven't advertised like I should, but I guess I will, Dr. B. We got to handle that because we're expanding, and we're getting instructors in place for different places other than just in Alabama. So because a lot of we do have students in the Bahamas, which I'm just delighted to work with them, and it has been such a blessing. And so we're very excited. We do have a nail training class now that's online. So there will be other classes. Wig making will be on there. Yeah, hint, hint. But of course, Dr. B will be the instructor for that. And so we're going to expand it. We just got a lot. We're putting everything under one umbrella so that everybody, because we got different people that needs different things. Some need training on how to operate their center, their clinic, how to set the clinic up, and we're working with them on that. So things are moving beautifully. When everything gets back like it's supposed to, me and Dr. Diggs, we will be doing a clinic in Atlanta. We're going to be planning a clinic in Atlanta. So we're excited, and I couldn't have done it without you all. I appreciate it. But I'm going to say this. Check us out on YouTube, okay? So go on our YouTube and subscribe. You know, look like I got 2 pages out there. Wherever you can find me, subscribe to it. So I think it's one Suzette Robinson and one P2PB. It's just so much out there. But however, we can be found. Look for us if you want to know about, like we were talking about, the Wigs for Kids. You can talk to Dr. B or myself. That's a great, great, great organization to be a part of. I think it's one of the best. Do you hear me? Because I mean, there's nothing like helping someone.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna be good at anything that you're doing, make sure it's helping someone. Okay. If you can't help someone, then why do it? So, Dr. B, I appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you on next Tuesday on Let's Talk About It Tuesday. And look for our flyers that are so beautifully done that will let you know what the next topic is. But I'm telling you, if you got parents that's got kids and y'all been putting hair on them, please tune in and find out. Sometimes too much is too much. So we're going to talk about why it will be too much and help enlighten people why they need to be very careful of these styles that we're doing now. Okay. So have I covered everything, Dr. B?
I think so.
Well, I'm going to say toodaloo to you guys because this was fun. I enjoyed it, Dr. B.
I enjoyed it as well.
Okay.
And we hope we've helped someone with the information that we've given out. And like Dr. Robinson said, if you have any questions, please be sure to send them to us and we will happily answer. Or we will bring it to the platform and we can answer it here.
Yes. And listen, don't be embarrassed about any of your questions.
Absolutely. And if you don't want anybody to know it's you, you send it in the inbox and say, don't tell nobody it's me.
And you know what? We won't.
We won't.
But if you look for me to call your name then. See you later.
All right. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right.